So now we're going to do the last in-band SQL injection. The first two are based on the union clause, but they have different aspects. And this one also has, yet a new aspect. So in this example, we're going to bypass a login form. All right, so open SQL injection login form hero. And as always, we'll need to understand how this form works. So I want you to enter something into the login, invalid credentials, and fill both invalid credentials, and put a single quote. Okay, so we break the SQL query used by the application. So now we need to fix this query and pull some data. But isn't it better to see the code before? So let's view the code file then. Regular security check functions are here. So scroll down a little. And here is the SQL query used. So it uses both values in the query. The query executes. And if there's no error, it fetches the rows. And if the login column in the row is set, then it displays the data. And if it's not set, invalid credentials is the error that gets displayed. Okay? So go back to Firefox now. Go to Chrome. Open phpMyAdmin and log in. Now choose the BWAP database. Now you don't have to do this, but I just want to show a clear picture for you. So this is the PHP code to log in. Okay, now I'm going to clear it. So now it is pure SQL. And if I add a single quote here, this error will arise. So I've added a hash also, and no error this time, because the hash makes the rest as comments, you see? So now I can write my statements here like that. So you see, it's simple but perfect query. Okay, so now go back to Firefox, and I'll give this input, and you see there is no error. Therefore, the login column is set. So the application also authenticates us, or we're logged in. So now give the same input again, but change 1 to 2. There's no syntax error, but invalid credentials. Okay, so now we can enumerate users. And don't forget, here we will have that first line only problem as well. So let's just add the limit clause. Limit from 1, limit from 2, limit from 3, limit from 4, from 5, and limit from 6. We get the error. Okay, so there are 6 superhero users in the table. Now to go further, we will need the number of columns in the query. So order by 3. That works. Order by 5. It doesn't work. Order by 4. And yeah, so there are 4 columns in the select statement. So now let's see which columns are displayed on the page. Yeah, so it's the second and fourth columns. Next is the current database name and user information. So we can use the BWAP database over root user. We can add version and group them with this payload. We already know, but it is always good to validate. And then we can discover all the database names, but step by step. So use the limit clause. Next one is BWAP. Now, sometimes you may need a database language and collation settings to perform some of the payloads. So you can always pull this information as we have done in previous lessons and group databases like that and use the limit. Now pull table names. All right, so this payload will do it, but you need to use the limit clause. And it can take some time. Also, this payload can be used. So any way you do it now, you can mix it up how you want it. I think you get the idea, right? So list BWAP's table like that. Then list the columns in the heroes table. And then pull the actual data from the heroes table and use a limit clause. Limit from 1. And if this way is too boring and tiring for you, you can also use the load into file statement. So the result will be saved to a file called result.txt. And then with this payload, you can view the result.txt. And perhaps that's much better and quicker for you. Okay, so we're done with that example. And it was indeed the last in-band SQL injection. But actually, now that I think about it, there is one error-based SQL injection. And you will drive queries based on the errors. Okay? And then, of course, the rest will be up for you to discover.